Are you preparing to become a certified early childhood educator in Pennsylvania? Welcome to the Everything Teacher channel. My name is Olivia and I'm a teacher certification advisor with study.com. In this video, I'll be sharing my top 10 tips to help you pass the PECT pre-K through 4 exam with real confidence. Whether you're just beginning your preparation or you're in the final stages of studying, these tips will help you create a focused, powerful plan that works. Let's jump right in. The first step to effective preparation is to understand exactly how the Pennsylvania Educator Certification Test, or PECT, pre-K through 4 exam is structured. The test is divided into 3 separate modules, each focusing on different content areas and developmental knowledge. Module 1, or test code 006, covers child development, learning, assessment, as well as collaboration and professionalism. Module 2, test code 007, covers language and literacy development along with social studies, arts, and humanities. Module 3, test code 008, covers mathematics, science, and health. Each module is timed separately and consists entirely of multiple choice questions. Knowing the exact structure of this test gives you a clear mental map of what you're facing and lets you organize your study efforts to match. Now that you've got a clear picture of how the test is set up, let's talk about what can make or break your performance on exam day. Time management. One of the biggest mistakes that test takers make is losing track of time, so it's important to know how to pace yourself while taking the exam. This is my second tip. On Module 1, you have 45 minutes to answer 36 questions, which means you should spend about a minute and 15 seconds per question. On Module 2, you have 75 minutes for 45 questions, giving you a little over a minute and a half per item. Module 3 gives you 90 minutes for 45 questions, allowing about 2 minutes per question. Working through the easier questions a bit more quickly gives you some breathing room when you come across tougher ones that take longer. Practicing under these real-time conditions is essential because good pacing helps you stay calm and keeps you from rushing at the end. Always be aware of the clock, but never let it make you panic. Steady, focused progress is your goal. Managing your time wisely is key, but it's not just about speed. It's also about knowing what kinds of questions you'll face. So here's tip number 3. Practice with different question types. The PECT pre-K through 4 exam will ask more than simple fact-based questions. You'll see direct knowledge questions, but you'll also face application-based and interpretation questions. Application questions will ask you to apply what you know to real-world teaching scenarios. Interpretation questions might show you a student's work sample or an assessment result, and you'll need to decide on the most effective instructional response. Practicing all 3 question types helps you prepare for the deeper thinking the exam expects. Don't just memorize content, practice thinking like a teacher. Speaking of thinking like a teacher, tip number 4 is about having a strong foundation in child development and assessment, as a large portion of Module 1 focuses on understanding how young children grow, learn, and develop. You must know major developmental theories, be able to recognize developmental milestones, and understand how to create supportive learning environments. You also need to show that you know how to assess student learning and adjust your instruction based on assessment results. Child development is the backbone of early childhood education, and mastering this content will set you up for success not just on the test, but in your future classroom. My next tip is about another focal topic in the PECT pre-K through 4 exam, language and literacy. This is the heart of early childhood learning. Module 2 heavily tests your knowledge of phonological awareness, phonics, vocabulary development, reading comprehension strategies, and writing instruction. You need to know how to teach these skills to diverse learners, including English language learners. You must also understand how oral language development supports reading and writing success. When you study, practice identifying instructional strategies that match specific literacy needs, because the exam often presents teaching scenarios that require you to make a professional judgment. Tip number 6 is more specific to Module 3, where many candidates struggle because it demands strong math, science, and health content knowledge. Review core concepts in these subjects. You need to know key math concepts like numbers and operations, algebraic reasoning, measurement, and data analysis. In science, you must understand basic principles of life, physical, and earth sciences. Health-related topics include physical development, fitness, and classroom safety. You will not have access to a personal calculator, but you will have a standard on-screen calculator for Module 3, so make sure you're comfortable using it during practice. Reviewing these STEM areas thoroughly and practicing problem-solving strategies is critical to managing this module successfully. Mastering the content is half the battle. Now it's time to make sure you can apply what you know under pressure. This is where tip number 7 comes in. One of the best ways to prepare is to take full-length practice tests that mirror the structure and timing of the real exam. Early diagnostic tests give you a clear sense of your strengths and the areas that need more attention. Study.com's PECT pre-K through 4 test prep course includes diagnostic quizzes and practice exams specifically aligned to each module. Practice tests build your stamina, sharpen your pacing skills, and make the real exam feel familiar and manageable. The earlier you start practicing under timed conditions, the better prepared you'll feel when the real testing day arrives. Practice tests are powerful, but they're even more effective when paired with a smart study strategy. Random studying just doesn't cut it when facing an exam as broad as the PECT pre-K through 4. This leads me to tip number 8. Once you identify your weaker areas, build a study plan that focuses heavily on those topics. Study.com can help by creating personalized study plans based on your diagnostic results, ensuring that every minute you spend studying has maximum impact. Strengthen your weak areas first, then review stronger areas to maintain your overall readiness. A targeted plan keeps you from wasting time and energy and helps you stay motivated, since you'll see real progress. Another helpful approach on the PECT pre-K through 4 exam is learning when to move on. So tip number 9 is about flagging questions for later. If you encounter a question that feels confusing or time-consuming, it's better to flag it and come back later rather than getting stuck and losing valuable minutes. Since all questions are worth the same amount of points, it's much smarter to answer the questions you feel confident about first and then circle back to the harder ones if time permits. During your practice sessions, train yourself to recognize when you're spending too long on a single question and develop the habit of moving forward without hesitation. Saving difficult questions for the end ensures that you maximize the number of questions you complete and gives you a clearer head when you revisit the challenging ones. Finally, the most important tip is to focus on building your confidence slowly and steadily. Preparing for the PECT pre-K through 4 is a marathon, not a sprint. Celebrate small milestones, mastering a difficult concept, improving your timing, or scoring higher on a practice test. Confidence grows with every step you take toward readiness. Trust the work you're putting in. On test day, you won't just hope you can succeed. You'll know you've prepared yourself to rise to the challenge. And there you have it, my top 10 tips for passing the PECT pre-K through 4 exam. Remember, this exam is not just about knowing facts. It's about thinking like a teacher, making instructional decisions, and demonstrating that you're ready to lead a classroom full of young learners. With thoughtful preparation, focused practice, and a smart strategy, you can absolutely pass this exam and move one step closer to your dream career in education. For more detailed strategies, practice tests, and walkthroughs, make sure to check out Study.com's PECT pre-K through 4 test prep course. With a 92% pass rate among users and resources built specifically for the latest test updates, it's one of the best tools you can have on your side. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and drop your questions or success stories in the comments below. We're rooting for you every step of the way. You've got this.